Yeah,
I
yeah.
love how Mrs. Rafiki wants us to be all professional, like we're actually
No,
professionals.
Thank
no.
you, Mrs. Rafiki. I'm more than happy to be professional.
Like you
We're
I'm
would
an
the
think
agent of
problem.
chaos.
you
We're
you
the
would think that
problem.
my wife
We're
has
the
never
problem.
watched a show on this channel until like she had to produce shit. But hello everyone. Uh, somebody has to keep me in line.
We
Um,
are
Thank
the
you,
Fair.
Mrs.
and
kids my
apparently
Rafiki.
that's her
parents made us
job.
about.
Uh, but yeah, no. But yeah, welcome to episode what is it 8 of Tears of the Rose, right?
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
the show where we break heart and tell stories. Um, yeah, it should be a nice tagline, right? For the what was I fuck about to say?
I don't
I
know.
just my mind just went completely blank, because we are very extremely professional here. Um,
Welcome back. We have
well,
sponsors.
yeah, yeah. Yes, please sponsor us. That would be great. Especially side note, if people are watching the stream right now and like noticing the little bar at the bottom, honestly, the 1985 logo is no longer there. It is not necessarily like our choice. It's not like it's just the affiliate program with 1985 just ended. Um, that's just not for us. It's for pretty much every 1985 affiliate. I got like the news recently. So, but yeah, still, I still encourage people to go check them out because they're still very, very cool. Uh, and they're, good people. And I still like them and encourage people to buy their product because I use them. Um, but before we get started, let's just go through the mentions of people we're still affiliated with and hopefully going to be affiliated for the foreseeable future. First and foremost, we are still very much dice affiliated with Die Hard Dice, almost fresh shopkeep and realm. There you can find quality polymer and metal dice and various dice accessories using some of their dice and one of their many dice trays. Look at all the pretty colors. Be, look at all the pretty colors and don't pay attention to the things that are coming out of my mouth. But you can do exclamation mark dice or DHD in the chat to get three things. One is our out of stock dice collab with them, which hopefully will come back in stock eventually. Who knows? But regardless, I still encourage you to use our affiliate link and our promo code to both check other dice affiliate with Diard and all their other products. They're very nice. I've been rolling with their dice even before creating this channel, so yeah, go check them out. And any use of that code and link does help us. Uh, and also, we are. Yes, this is how the start of the I start like by telling a little Twitch bot that they're a good bot and they will like it. Uh, and I welcome the rise of the machine. Um,
Look, you have to bless the bot in order to bless the stream. It's how it
yeah,
works. You have to tell the bot it's a good bot.
look, that's why I'm not like angry at all of my appliance or don't yell at them because I know that eventually the rise of the machine will happen, and if I'm in their good grace, I might make it a day. Um, but speaking of not bot, we also affiliated with Headphone Press because that's what I was talking about here. You can do exclamation mark HPP, and a bot will put a command in there. Um, what will give us the affiliate link that with our them. Headphone Press are maker of the TTRPG reference card books accessories. They bring cool things like campaign settings such as the Humblewood, um, compatible 5e compendium like Drift Travel Bag, the deck of main things, which I do love to use in my 5e games or campaign because it creates chaos. Um, and they have cool things like Alcinona and their own system that they've been working on that I still need to playtest at some point. It'd be super fun to try. Um, but yeah, you can use our affiliate link in chat to support us. Otherwise, we have other things like you can just follow us on social, watch a stream, be around when there's like an ad playing. We have a Kofi link and all that. Whatever, however you support us, that'll support the show and my cast. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it, right? We are, as you may have, people paying attention may notice, we are still missing our wonderful pirate captain, Aurelia, Anna.
Anna, we love you.
Yeah, we love you very much. And I would like to personally curse that moving company that you hired that somehow, I don't know, they managed to lose an entire truck of your shit so that you're not able to be with us tonight. But we will hopefully see you very, very soon. Hey, we get our actor back. So that's good. With blue hair now.
Yes.
Fancy. I like that. All right. So I think that's pretty much enough, like rambling and talking nonsense for a little bit, right? Um, I pity the people that watched our VOD and expect like the should actually start when like they press play. No, it doesn't start like that. It started probably like 15 minutes after. But hey, here we are with. Let's do a quick recap.
No, let's not do a quickly recap. Let's let Tamasa find out shit on his own.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is very gonna be very very quick recap because Tamasa was not here last week, right? Um, so essentially, what happened? Other party member had their own little adventure, right? That's pretty much what happened. Um, in a nutshell, uh, things were pretty well exciting and fun at the chateau. Tommaso, you gave a great show, entertaining the crowd. You were glorious, like people were in awe at you. Uh, but yeah, where we are picking up today, uh, you are essentially wrapping your performance. Uh, I was almost mispronouncing that word. Um, and people applaud, bravo, bravo. Um, celebrating, having his last few drink, essentially last call, and some of the notable folks are slowly leaving. Um, we're gonna start with you because I feel like it's been like a long time since I had a chance to, talk to you, and I missed you. Uh, so, Tamasa,
Okay.
as you wrap up your performance, uh, how enthralled were you with your performance? Did you notice the? Can you give me just a perception seeing?
Yeah. Uh, nine. Uh, 365.
That's pretty good.
Plus my. You said perception, right?
That is correct. That is a perception. If you have the seeing focus, you may use that as well.
Okay. Nope, that's it. Just I don't got this flat. So 14.
14. All right. So just based on the general positioning of where you were, you've probably had like a good view of where Nicolette usually sits and where your companion Aurelia sat for a moment. So you may have clocked Aurelia speaking with uh, for a moment with a very intriguing night person that you've already met a few days ago, and you know that your dear friend, although with recent relationship complication, with argument and things like that, it happens, right?
Mhm.
Um, was there sitting with and talking with a few people. You've clocked for a brief moment, probably just very near like the end of your night uh, or absence, real quick. But you probably assume that she probably just went somewhere, talk to somebody else. And as you were wrapping up your night, she was there once again. But
Okay.
you notice that she probably went away for just a moment. Exactly how long? time is weird when you're in the in a groove, right?
Mhm.
Um, but somebody like going around, especially like somebody as important as Nicolette, and going different places and not being still all night long, it's not anything
Yeah.
surprising, right? Uh,
Look, it's hard to sit at that table with that pile of flowers where I can't see the stage or any of
the
my
allergies
guests.
are rough.
It's a
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try not to think anything of it. I'm gonna look around. What was the name? It was Kale, right? The really handsome envoy that
Correct.
Tamasa kept flirting with.
Kale
Uh,
was the younger one.
Kale was the
Garen
younger
was
one.
yeah,
the
Yeah,
older one.
yeah,
I mean, they're both equally handsome in their own way.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think Tomas is gonna like take one more sweep, looking around the crowd as him and the other musicians are like packing up their instruments to get off the stage, at the end of the show, to see if maybe, just maybe, Kale might have shown up.
Hmm. Good question, right? Would he have showed up that night? Roll me a d6. Just a single d6.
A 6.
Okay. Um. So as you were packing up and looking around, just excitedly, which one of you are you looking for most? Is it Kale or Garen?
Um, I'm trying to remember which one was the one that I was actually flirting with. That was
Garen.
it was Garen, the Rose Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm
We're
looking.
not supposed to know that. That's above table.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. That's what I wrote in my notes. Uh, but I don't know that he's a Rose. I just know. I'm looking for Garen.
Garen.
Yeah.
Um. So looking around, you're essentially like trying to like spot what would be, not necessarily like the face, but like color scheme of somebody envoyed by crown or something, and they do present themselves very well. Um, you do believe for a moment as people are leaving that you catch possibly like the glimpse of what may have been a jacket of one of the envoy or somebody
Oh.
working for the crown. Um, were they here for business or pleasure? That's an entirely different story. I mean, you did definitely see Morgan there having
Hmm.
a chat with one of your companion.
Yeah.
If the two are related or not, that's a different. An entire different thing.
Mhm. Well, I kind of sigh a little bit with disappointment, and then just proceed to socialize with people for the rest of the night, uh,
Mhm.
until it's time to uh, retire.
Yeah. And as you're socializing, there's a few people that are more than happy to see if they can buy you a drink or a bit of something, or uh, possibly try to enthuse you to, oh, well, I might be holding a little swag at my own place. Uh, what is like? Would you like to come and?
That sounds fantastic. As like he like goes off and puts his arm around like two of the people and proceeds to allow people to uh buy him drinks and pay attention to him for the rest of the night.
Perfect. How many, drinks do you allow people to buy you?
I will have a one stiff drink, and then I'm going to look at the bartender, whether we leave the chateau or not. I have an
Mhm.
understanding. The chateau, I know I'm safe. Uh, but most of the bars around here, I have a signal with the bartender, um, to just sort of serve me water after a certain point, and then keep half the money.
Perfect. Yeah, and you know, people buy drinks. People try to invite you to all sorts of things. Whether or not you choose to accept or not, it is entirely up to you. That will depend on where you will spend your night tonight.
Okay. Uh, I think that he's actually going to go home. Like, he might sing by himself and uh for a time and then just pass out in his bed with
And
with an empty bottle of wine like slipping off of his fingers.
for you, home is the chateau, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So yeah, you walk eventually into your room. Um, Now, I wonder if Tamasa would notice things. How organized is Tamasa normally?
Very.
Very
But
organized.
only in the sense that if he needs to get up and move,
Mm-hmm.
he can do so quickly.
Okay. How like tidy are things in this room
Mm,
on a regular basis?
as tidy as the housekeeping keeps it.
Okay.
Because normally most of his personal things he keeps like on a travel sack,
Mm-hmm.
like at the foot of the bed. And everything else that he's kind of sort of been wearing are all just things that he's left here um 3 years ago
Okay.
when he left. He pretty much told Nicolette, I'm gonna leave these things here with you and I will just use them when I come back because I can't take them on the road.
Okay. In that case, hmm. I will, if you want to, um, say you can give me a perception, either seeing or smelling.
Okay. I'll let the dice tell a story.
And you can choose either option as
Ooh.
what you may or may not notice.
Yeah, no. That's a 2-2-1. I mean, one was on the stunt die, but
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what I'm gonna
You
do with one
probably had
skill
one
point.
cup of wine too many to really care or pay
Yeah.
attention to anything before you go crash face first into your very comfortable bed.
Yes.
Uh, Wonderful. I like that. Nicolette, up ahead. Uh, no, night is wrapping up. You add your own event.
Do I see Sir Garen?
Give me a perception seeing, because you are probably coming back
Seeing
to
or
this.
searching? Because I would have been looking for him.
I would allow either or, because why not?
5, 8, 10, 12, 14.
14. Uh, you would catch a glimpse of him, uh, probably just chatting a friend or that, as they're pretty much 1 foot out the door already. But they're not like in a hurry to leave. They seem to be very casual about this this affair here.
I'm going up to him real quick. Good evening, Sir Garen.
Oh, good evening.
Nice to see you here for the concert.
Yes, I've heard that you were holding a little soiree, so I figure I would come by and socialize a little bit.
Well, it would have been nice if you would have come by to say hello. I mean, I did invite you to brunch.
My apologies for not being able to make it to brunch. I did indeed want to say hello for a moment. However, I arrived a bit late, and when I arrived, even the what is don't recall his name, the lovely gentleman that seems to be your majordomo.
Fair and dear.
Yes, he could not point me for even to save his life of where you were. Um, so,
Well, the table
but
does get
it
piled
was
pretty high on a concert night.
I've
Um,
noticed quite a lovely concert that you're friend put on.
Yes. Tamasa is lovely. It is always wonderful when he is able to be home and perform. Um, did you get my second note for the day?
Oh, which like could Panda remain frank? Which
I
note
sent a
was
note
it?
once I got the note saying a message saying that they weren't coming.
Mm-hmm.
I sent a note back in the cipher asking when we were going to have our meeting
Okay.
because we have questions we'd like to answer. We
Yeah.
would like answered.
I do believe one of a note was received. Yes.
Um, when and where can I expect to have a short chat?
I mean, that is really like, I would say it's partially up to you. I mean, I understand like obviously like during that brunch was just not a good time, but if you are, is it just yourself or your companion as well?
My companions may wish to attend as well.
All right. No, hopefully none of them drank too much tonight. If possible, possibly tomorrow by noon.
Oh, that's absolutely fine.
And now, would you like it here or like where you're more
Oh, here
comfortable,
would be
or possibly
wonderful because
somewhere
then I
else?
don't have to worry about getting a carriage up and I can just come down and continue my work day after we have a small chat.
We can certainly arrange. I will verify with my compatriot.
Okay.
Um, but
Well, I appreciate it. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. If you are going to be hanging around, the bar will be open for several more hours. I'm headed to bed. And she will, without even acknowledging the fact that he's totally stood her up, absolutely going to just curtsy and go upstairs like she doesn't give a shit, even though she is miffed.
yeah, respects it.
So, and she will like, wave to La Parelle and note that she's going upstairs.
La Panel, what are you doing?
Um, I think due to the recent um news that we got, Lapadette is going to be giving Nicolette just a little bit more of a breathing room, not be
Hmm.
shadowing her as
Yeah.
closely. Um, so he sees her from above and just nods and just stays there, and moves maybe just a little bit closer to the hallway, so that way he could see everything that's going down at the party and keep an ear out for if she happens to need him. Um, and I think for the most part, he's just probably just making sure no one that's not supposed to be on the upper section of the chateau is there, or just try to point them to elsewhere. Maybe someone might get confused or lost because the amount of people that are there. Um,
Hmm.
just point them out where they need to go. And I think he's just contemplating uh, how tonight's been progressing, how lively the chateau has been
Yeah.
tonight, and hopefully, I think he kind of hopes that he gets to see the chateau like this a little bit more frequently, seeing as things are going to be a little bit more laxed uh,
Hmm.
for certain individuals. So I think maybe he'll go ahead and he'll try and see if he can wave Tamasa over maybe before going to
Yeah. Time is
his room
loose.
tonight, and just like check in, see how Tomas is doing, get their feels on their set, um, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he if Labalel shows Tomasa any attention, it will pivot immediately. And we'll just be like, oh, the set was glorious. I had an amazing time. Why aren't you with Nicolette?
Well, seeing as she's been granted more freedom around, I we discussed that it may not be such a bad idea for her to have a little bit more of time to herself. Still keep an eye on her, but not be right on top of her. I think that's rather appropriate. She wants to, now that the royals aren't necessarily watching her as closely. I shouldn't be watching her as closely as well. It would be kind of counterintuitive if I was when they weren't.
Right. No, of course. Uh, do you play dice?
I haven't
You-
since I was a young recruit, and I came to find out really quickly that dice is not my game, but I'm willing to give it another shot. Somehow, all my stipend money went to the higher ups. I
Oh,
guess I was an easy mark, is what they said, or just a good sport. But I'm sure we
oh.
could
Well,
play a little bit.
we don't have to play for money. We can play a gentleman's game. We can play for sport. We can play for fun, or we can play for money. We can play for clothes.
Let's go. Let's just have a little friendly game.
Okay. And then instead of like maybe like going somewhere, I think I'm probably just going to instigate like a friendly game of like dice.
Mhm.
Um, at like one of the corner areas at the chateau with a
Yeah.
few people who decided to stay later to drink at the bar after the concert.
Yeah.
Um,
There's not that many people that are staying super
yeah.
late. Most people have things to do in the morning.
Mhm.
There's always, but like any show that people go, there's always gonna be a few stragglers. Um, I myself have been often one of those stragglers at concerts. Um, if you're gonna be like possibly just some light gambling, you can just roll me a gambling test, which it is communication gambling.
Oh, okay. Double fives
Did you
Hmm.
say
with a
Constitution?
one on the drama
Communication.
die. Communication.
Oh, that's
So 5, and then my communication is 3, so that's 13. So a total of 15, and then a 1 point, 1 stunt point, which I have no idea what I'm going to spend that. Okay, hold on, let me pull up my.
I'm already telling you right now. You beat me on what do you say, 15? Yeah, you already beat
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
All right. And are you like inviting like third party to possibly gamble with you?
No. If somebody else wants to volunteer, they're more than welcome to. But I'm much more focused on the two of us having a friendly game.
All right.
And then maybe having drinks and socializing with whatever stragglers are there.
Yeah.
Um, my focus is more to make it enough of a group activity that it doesn't feel like a date. It feels like a hangout. Uh, so that so that he doesn't frighten Lapadelle off. Because right now, Tomas is having a really great time just rolling dice and
Yeah.
spending time.
It can be a very a simple friendly game of Farkle, right? Who doesn't
Yeah.
like a game of Farkle? Uh,
I
I love
imagine they're
Farkle.
playing liar's dice.
No,
And kind
like,
of plays up. I learned this from Captain Acton, to kind of entertain the 2 or 3 groupies that are there, and maybe entertain Lapadelle instead
yeah.
as well.
But I guess from what I can see, like it turns out that as previously for you, Panda, dice are just not in your favor. Uh, so you
Some things never change.
yeah,
Some things never change.
between the two of you, you may decide what if there was any wager. As
Uh, I no, I don't think that was any direct wager. Uh,
No.
I think that my character is going to say, well, if you want a rematch, we can always go upstairs with a bottle of rum and play again.
Unfortunately, I still have to work.
Oh, yeah,
My set is still ongoing.
that is
But
true.
I do thank you for the game and for the lovely set. I'm just terribly sorry I didn't get to catch all of it though.
Oh, it's fine. Um, you know where I sleep. Uh, come on,
I
kids.
think at
Let's.
that, La Pared is just gonna have a little smirk and just say that I do.
Uh, and I think I'd like to splice the rest of the narrative that we had before,
Yeah.
where I go out drinking, and I think I want to say that the reason why he doesn't just go home with one of those young people is because there's a part of him that thinks,
Maybe there was something there, right?
I would rather sleep alone for one night than not show up the night that Lapadel like shows up in my bedroom.
Look at that character growth.
Like, I know that it's a long shot, but my character is just gonna go in, and maybe that's why he doesn't notice that weird smell,
Yeah.
and it just
I mean, I wouldn't call it a weird smell, but okay.
not a weird smell, just a different smell.
If anything, the room like smells slightly more pleasant.
Mhm. But
Uh,
yeah,
You're not sure why. It might just be sometime the air of the evening.
it smells nice having drunk dreams about naked liars dice.
Can't lie when you're naked. All right.
You can, you just can't do it very well.
No.
Not very well at all.
All right. So here we are wrapping up tonight's evening, and eventually, well, it's morning. The birds are singing, and people are. Oops, wrong track. There you go. I think that's the right one. There we go. Should be all right. It is a nice little morning, and you are waking up with possibly for some of you many things to do. So, where do things take you this morning?
I think my character is actually going to be kind of responsible. They might be a little hungover, but they're immediately gonna like as soon as they get up, like
Mhm.
wash their face, wash their hair, get dressed, eat. Um, if anything, there's like a little bit less not spring in Tamasa's step, but there seems to be a little bit more urgency. Tamasa is packing, like the things he's unpacking, cleaning, packing, oiling his sword. He's doing something that I think only Nicolette and long-term employees of the chateau have seen, which is what Tamasa looks like before he's about to hit the road.
All right.
Even if they're not necessarily leaving the next day,
Mhm.
Tamasa's already starting to like, put away certain knickknacks that might have been on the table and put them in a hidden pocket and
Yeah. Making sure
really
nothing is missing, and
make sure nothing is missing. He might go on a quick errand to buy new guitar strings. So he'll probably be up like Tamasa early, which is like 7:30. Right after, just to be able to run errands because if there's any errands that Nicolette wants
Mhm.
done by noon, like my character doesn't know, but he also knows that Nicolette always has stuff going on, and if Nicolette managed to get us a meeting, it will probably be for lunch. Um, so they're just gonna spend the morning doing business so that they're back by like 11 a.m.
sounds good. How about the rest of you?
Nicolette got up really early, like she always does. Um, Last night when La Parade came through her room to go to the office, like he probably saw her. She was just in her swing, just
Mhm.
grinning like an absolute fool because she feels like she got a one up, you know. So she's like watching the stars and she hangs out until she falls asleep, which is pretty quick once like everyone is settled in and she knows everybody is back in the residence. And then she would get up very, very early, like before the sun even comes up, get up, clean up, fix her makeup, fix her hair, down in the office by like she's in the office by 6:30 or 7 in the morning.
Mhm. Yeah, and it is once again business as usual. Um, it's
She goes down there with a great big old rose in her hair.
wonderful. And what about our wall here?
La Pared gets up maybe a half hour before Nicolette. Um, Goes to his room in the barracks to do his exercises. Is not going to do his exercises in Nicolette's room and make that all stinky, sweaty, smelly. Um,
Respectfully.
Respectfully, of course. So does his exercises, gets bathed, does his essential oils, probably mimics the same thing as Tamasa and just oiling, sharpening his weapons and stuff like that, making sure his armor looks nice and clean and oiled up. Um, Probably hits the kitchen and gets like just like maybe like a fruit or like an orange and just has that at first and um probably asks for like some coffee and tea to be made and just brings some up for Tamasa and Nicolette. Especially seeing as Tamasa had a little bit of a rough evening last night. Um, we'll leave that, outside his door and we'll just bring like some tea and just leave it outside of Nicolette's door. And I think he's going to be waiting um, in a meeting room, like outside her room, just in that hallway.
Wonderful. All right. So as time passes and you go through your morning routine, uh, eventually, what would be probably about noon is hard to tell. There's no precise clock or thing, but as the sun is high in the sky, um, you do see a carriage eventually pull in front of the chateau, um, where uh, three lovely individual walk out. Um, you do have remember Kale and Garen, and you also see Elora walking out. Um, Elora seems to be taking the lead on this. All of them nicely dressed in this nicely blue and gold, um, essentially what I would call like military coat type of deal. Um, and they don't make a big entrance or a big deal out of their things. They're just essentially here dress.
What's
Uh,
the weather like?
hmm. Good question. Roll me a d6. I like to leave things
5.
to chat. 5. It is a fairly nice day outside. It is getting warmer. It is getting nicer. Um, there's a few clouds in the sky, but nothing that will foreshadow any like rain or anything. It's
But it's nice enough that outside would be comfortable for most people.
yeah. In morning may have been like a bit colder in the morning, but as like the day, it's about closer to noon. Most people would find themselves quite comfortable to be able to remove possibly some layers.
Nicolette has very strategically ordered food, light lunch, to be set up in the conservatory with all the doors open. So it's fresh air, but it's a room that is literally full of fresh flowers, most of which are
Yep.
roses,
Wonderful.
because she grows roses year round.
Yep. I mean, when you have a room like that,
Hmm.
right? Um,
But I'm up in my office when they get there. I will wait to be called down. I don't wait on people. I am working.
yeah, absolutely. Eventually, your lovely, well-presented major domo, right here, like, Madame, uh,
Yes.
I'm here to inform you that it seems that you were expecting guests today. Uh,
Yes, is lunch set up downstairs?
Uh, Correct. Yes, everything is already set up. Uh, Tea will be there in a moment as you guys seem to have arrived.
I'll be down in just a minute.
Yeah. So I've taken the liberty to uh, direct them where it's needed and to be seated. Uh, and I made sure that Sebastian did not roam around to bore them with tale of accounting.
It's fine. Sebastian's welcome to come join us if he needs to, but it's fine.
Mm,
I'll be down in a few minutes.
wonderful.
She will finish whatever she is working on
Yeah.
when they decided to show up because they said by noon and she
Yeah.
wasn't 100% sure. So she was just kind of waiting to see when people would show
Mhm.
up. She's going to finish whatever she is
Yeah.
working on and then go downstairs.
Yeah. Around noon, where are the rest, the two of you, by any chance?
I will probably be back at the chateau,
Oh,
hoping to, eat lunch with Nicolette, and probably a boring, or probably like lightly flirting with Lapadelle, like while Lapadelle is either standing outside of Nicolette's door or
yeah.
wherever Lapadelle is. It's just sort of like he brought him like some biscuits from like a local bakery while he was out, and is like, "Oh, I brought you some biscuits,
All right.
something to munch on before lunch. What
So
do you
if it,
think?"
oh,
Huh?
so if the
Go
two
ahead.
of you are like by like more or less Nicholas' door and like talking, and you have probably seen Faraday like walk in, where or not. I don't think that for this you would have closed the door with. So depending on how your just general earring is, you may have like overhear a few things.
Oh, I would have told them what was
Yeah.
going on at some time during the morning once I saw both of them.
Lapade thanks Tamasa for the biscuits and um, takes one of them and starts having a little snack on one. Takes the others and he probably has like a little pocket or a pouch for like some like snacks or like small rations that he puts in there for later.
Yeah, those are really good. They're gonna stay good for a couple of days. It sounds like people from the palace are here.
I'm sure we'll be called shortly. Will be interesting to see what they have to say.
Yeah. Do you like your new armor?
He doesn't have it yet.
Oh, he doesn't have it yet. He's gonna say, "I see that you polished, cleaned your armor. It's smelling really nice this morning."
Yeah, it's one of those. It's that day. It's armor cleaning day, so I like to get it done every once in a while. Gotta make sure that it looks good and doesn't smell as horrible as it can smell. Because don't want to offend anyone's noses, especially if we have folks from the palace coming.
Well, I don't think people realize that sweat is actually a natural smell.
Yes,
Some of
but
us like that smell.
unfortunately, our guests do not. So, and
Nicolette
this
is
is,
rolling her eyes as she walks out. Our guests are here. It is time to go downstairs.
Oh, all right.
I think,
He
And she just keeps walking.
he grabs a mandolin and he's like, "So, what kind of music should I play during your
Nothing.
entrance? Something dramatic?"
No, nothing.
No, but
Nothing. You insulted Elora with music the last time we saw her. Maybe let's not get on that foot.
I'm just saying, if you're going to
I'm just
make
saying.
If
I
you're
don't
gonna
need.
make powerful people wait until you're finished instead of getting up immediately to see them, you might as well go all the way.
No, that's not my style.
All right. And he just slings the mandolin back over his back and, you know, quietly doesn't play any more music as you guys head down.
And I'm just gonna walk into the conservatory, like head held high, and just be like, "I apologize for the wait. I was, of course, it is a work day for me, and I was not sure when y'all would be here, so my apologies.
Yeah. And
Lunch?
as you walk in, you can see that they were like sitting there and just casually chatting among themselves in a like last time you've seen them all, like they were in a very like let's say here be like in a we're on business.
Mm-hmm.
For a moment, you just catch them as being just individual people, right? Still presenting themselves very well, but just being just friends talking and about all the nice things in the weather and catching up on gossips. Oh, um, and Garen like stands up. Oh, no need to apologize. Uh, it's certainly like I certainly understand what it is to be quite busy. So, but I'm glad that we could finally find the time to uh, meet.
Me as well. Please sit, eat.
Mm.
Alice is a wonderful cook, and she's sent up whatever she sent up for lunch. Excuse me.
And you can see them like essentially just as tea has been served, they're actually just sipping on some tea. They're not really in eating mood. They're just like they're sipping tea and just no waiting
I go when I
for.
sit down, like I find an available seat.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how you would have arranged. I'm assuming you would have had a table arranged for the occasion.
Yeah, there's a
Is
table. There's a table for six because we knew Aurelia wasn't
yeah,
going to come down because the crown stuff has got her a
yeah,
little freaked out. Um,
yeah,
so it's a table for six, and
yeah,
Nicolette will immediately walk to the head of the table and sit
yeah,
down.
yeah.
Please sit.
Oh, and like they sit down. It's lovely to see all of you again. Although one of your friends, believe she seems to be missing, but I'm
She's
sure that any
upstairs resting.
understandable. Hopefully, she will find some good rest. And Aurora speaks up. So I hear that last night Karen told me that you had a lovely. So I'm sorry I missed it, but I'm sure that your and she turns towards you, Tamasa. Uh, your performance this time was quite lovely, from what I hear.
I mean that is definitely what people say. Um, but I'm really glad that everyone got an opportunity to enjoy the show and have fun, and that's really what matters. However, uh, Nicolette has some incredibly important questions to ask, and I think that that should be the focus of the conversation.
Absolutely, we are here. I mean, it is. I doubt that we were simply invited here for tin biscuits. So,
Well,
um,
I mean, you're always welcome to come by for tea and biscuits. No one cooks as well as Elise does. So,
so
um, about this arrangement.
yes.
Um, as you can probably tell, the note was pretty easy to decipher. Um, are you making us members of the finest? Because someone mentioned the word oath at our meeting the other day, and I would like some more details as to what that will entail.
And they see they look at each other. No, and Garen speaks up. Um, as for a member of the finest, um, although it would be quite the honor, and I would love to have somebody such as yourself, and I'm sure your friends as well as Sage. Uh, for such matter, it is a bit more complicated. It is not our personal decision here, but I'm sure that in due time, possibly this could be arranged. I'm sure that our ranks would be stronger and better with you amongst it.
Then the note specifically requested members of the finest.
Yeah. And Laura speaks up. Indeed, that specific note was in regards to have some of our finest go there. And although based on what we see, and we got to eventually also like assign some of our finest to explore over there. Um, but it is we find it. I would want to put it. Uh, I do believe, based on your own personal talents and skills, and the overall situation, that somebody, some people that not necessarily has associated with us might be able to assist us in our task over there. Now, uh, like with this, it would not go without any of our support or reward. We would certainly not want that for you at all. Um,
What is this about an oath?
now, if there's a note to be taken, it would be simply to serve and support the crown as uh, envoy initiate in a way. We did discuss amongst ourselves and with other party that do outrank us in many ways, and who you are as a person, Madame, is fairly well known to some of us, not all of us, obviously. Um, and some of us, I will speak bluntly here with you. Um, some folks do boldly disagree with possibly employing you, and I boldly disagree with them. I had the joy and opportunity to meet you in person, um, and so far you and your companions have been, well, for the most part, nothing but kind. Although some of you do love to be a bit bold in your approach, um, which is, I suppose, in some quality in itself. Um, but I do know a good heart when I see one.
We've heard a rumor on the wind. How much danger are we actually in on this journey?
Hmm.
She will signal for one of the staff that's around to start closing all the doors and windows so that nobody can hear. Allow me to get us some more privacy.
Appreciated. It would be foolish of me to say that this journey is without any dangers. I would not dare to provide you with such lie. As all journey are, do you have any, as and some of you, I'm sure that are well traveled, know have some possible danger, especially as when you go beyond the village of Orta, where uh, although up there lands are relatively well settled, you may still encounter like the occasional bandit or ruffians.
I'm talking about the incursions from the
But
north.
as for incursion in the north, um, Such things do happen on occasion. It is it has been happening before, during, and is still happening after the war, as it is expected. Our foes in Kern do um, still persist even though after the defeat of Lich King.
We've heard a
Some
little birdie on the wind say that it's a lot more than just a few. That travel is becoming difficult, transport is becoming difficult.
is that so?
People that move things from one place to another through less than
I kick Tamasa under the table.
are having a hard time trading.
And they look at each other like with a bit of a grin, like understanding like what exactly what you mean. Like, yeah, some of our, let's call them independent traders. Uh,
Yes,
do
independent traders are
independent
struggling.
traders do have uh, possibly some difficulties here with uh, moving a certain object. Um, Although some difficulty are usually not very much there when there are few of our soldiers near the border, making sure that our mer- alliance of merchants uh, have the option to move as freely as possible with as little as danger as possible. Um, it is true that there is, on the occasion, some we had to have a few more for men at border. There's always a bit of unrest here and there. Um, Recently, a bit more, but nothing that would bring me much additional concern. And I understand why you may have some deep concern regarding this. Uh, but we do have outposts out there. Now, if it would be foolish to me to say that the borders are as safe as our city walls.
So, what is it exactly that you are asking us to do?
So, what we're currently it is a simple task in itself. Um, One that an envoy initiate or anybody working in association with the crown could possibly do. Um, we would like you to go to the newer, in recent years, uh, town of Stony Run. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. Um, it's northeast of our city and continent, uh, near the edge of the Pavin Weald. Um, Simply take stock of the village, the town, as you and anything that you may pass during your journey over there. Uh, if I'm sure with your business, you're quite familiar with any uh, keeping documentation of any possible senses that come and going. So possibly, verify like how things are going in certain village along your journey. Simply with a bit of representation from Crown. Um, no, we uh, as offering or extending the end of having you as envoy initiate. Uh, any aid that you may be able to offer us, or I wouldn't be so bold to ask that you pass full on judgment on anybody. Such thing would be ridiculous. Uh, but any aid that you may be able to provide or report things needed would be, well, not only appreciated from us, but I'm sure from them as well, whoever we may cross. But um, and Kale speaks up, um, and I understand that this is possibly a lot, and some of you have been very much ingrained in the city for quite some time. Some of you are probably waiting to hit the road once more. Um, so, but as Lady Ilora mentioned, yeah, it would be an honor to possibly have you as possible envoy and initiate of this. And
How soon
we,
would
we
we
don't
need to
want to
leave?
start with a big task.
How soon would you need us to be leaving?
Um, I mean, we would not want to rush you to leave. Uh, if you feel ill prepared, please, by any means, make sure that you are indeed well prepared for this. It is quite a journey. By Eagles Fly, it's easily 325 miles, so easily 2 weeks travel,
Oh my
even
goodness.
even if riding. Although time may vary based on your own pace, and the
We've
weather may have greatly impact.
commissioned a carriage
All right. Well, in that
to
case,
aid in our travels.
at least you won't be on foot. Otherwise, it would be quite a journey.
Mm.
Uh, but please make sure that I'm sure that some of you, uh, uh, the lovely gentleman here that you have among your friends seems to be a well-traveled man.
Oh
So
yeah, I've been all over the continent, so I'm very, very excited to get traveling again.
although you will certainly like encounter various town and villages, especially uh, up to Orta, um, we encourage you to be fairly well supplied and be as selfish as possible. Um, like pay and I understand that in some case it might be tempting to uh, freely accept a gift and so on, um, but if I may provide you with just a bit of, if you do choose to accept a bit of wisdom, as much as you can pay for food and lodging whenever and wherever you are. um, if aid is demanded, or if for a moment you may be called to have make your own judgment.
I wouldn't dream of taking from the people.
Mhm.
If you know anything
Uh,
about me, you know that is not my way.
certainly, yes. Some may, you understand that some may see like receiving gift, food, and lodging as
Oh,
possible bribery. All right,
aha,
and I'm sure
aha.
that you.
Of course, you're right. I will do my best to look good to the ground and not look like I am accepting bribes. Because at the end of the day, we're here to help people. We're not here to take advantage of
But yeah, and Garen speaks up again. Uh, I hope that we're able to answer at least some of your concern. I'm sure there is always going to be question and notes and things that you wish that you have thought and spoke about. But
Oh, before I forget, I do have a question.
yes, certainly.
What are the rules when a captain of a ship uses a ship that does not belong to him to aid the crown without the owner knowing?
Hmm. Is is this? I'm assuming here it would be possibly a privately owned vessel and not
Yes.
one belongs to
No,
our
this is a
fleet.
privately owned vessel.
Hmm. Well, I'm not a naval expert on matter, and I'm assuming, as for the thing itself, it may very well depend on what may have occurred. Uh, do you have any more detail on the matter?
Um, as a woman of my station, I meet people from all over the world, as you can imagine. And I have it on
Indeed.
very good authority that the pride of the fleet of the Star Scattered Trading Company, Galenar's Hope, was used to aid the crown in some fashion without the owner's knowledge by its captain.
Is that so?
I believe so.
Hmm. And they look at each other a bit like, hmm, that's not something that we were aware of.
No, I
Well, we,
highly doubt the owner would have ever agreed to it. I've known him for many years.
and do you, by any chance, since you seem and I appreciate you, be well informed, what sort of aid would have been provided so that we can communicate with the Grand Admiral?
Allegedly, it was used to spring a trap of some sort, trying to draw in people that thought it might be a sitting duck or thought it might need help or any number of things. They tried to use it to trap sailors at large.
Interesting.
I don't know all of the details, but I do know that the owners would never have agreed to such a thing.
Hmm. I do understand like that there are sometimes operations in association with some of our merchants uh, to combat piracy and such that. Um,
But I would believe the owner of the boat would be the one to coordinate that. Yes.
I do believe in general terms there it is correct. And when I say we, I speak broadly
Mm-hmm.
uh, as this is not my domain. We do indeed ensure that communication is done with owners and captains of vessels. Although depending on some fleets, sometimes it is done with some captain and owner are the same. Um,
No, this is very clearly a case where the captain did it without the owner's knowledge.
Interesting. All right. Well, in this
I don't
case,
know all of the details, but I have heard word on the wind, and being that I've known the owners of the boat for a very long time.
well, in that case, we can certainly.
He and his wife were clients for many years.
Let's see. In that case, I'm sure that if there's anything that may have been uh, misconducted, that the admirals and captains would love to hear about this. Um,
Feel free to pass it along. Like I said, I don't have all of the details, just word on the wind, but it's
yeah.
trustworthy words.
But if this vessel was indeed involved in any our operation, I'm sure the party in power would be well aware of it. Uh, any other anything else?
No, I just wanted to touch base on that because obviously,
Mm-hmm.
if we're going to be working with the crown, and I very much believe that we will be, as we start to get things together on our own.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know I will be comfortable with this. We do need to run it past Aurelia when she is awake. Obviously, we had quite the party last night. It was very, very late, and she's likes to sleep in. She is a guest in my home, so
Seems to have been indeed quite lively, from what I could
yes,
catch.
it ran
But
very
Um,
late.
mhm.
well, in that
Honestly,
case,
I'm kind of wondering how this one's already out of bed, but that's beside the point.
uh,
He was
well,
responsible last night. I'm very proud.
I was just doing good things. Yes, and well, I guess before you all leave, I like turn and I look at Garen, and I was like, Garen, when
yes.
are you going to be free for dinner?
Sorry, your microphone like cut out a
Oh,
little bit.
when are you going to be free for dinner?
For dinner.
Perhaps some company. You don't have a consort, do you? Are you married?
And he looks at you like,
And he's just looking at him with like genuine like interest.
no, I'm currently unmarried.
Oh. Well, I assure you, being married is very fun, but not as fun as being unmarried.
I wouldn't not know, but uh, but
I would, and I would be more than happy
Nicolette bristles just a little bit at the talk of
but
marriage being fun because the
but
crown literally ruined her marriage.
but
uh,
I
yes,
I did hear that sometime dinners and food here as presented here and last night is quite delicious here. So uh, perhaps I may have a visit tonight.
that sounds absolutely lovely. However, if I continue my shameless flirting, even though we have concluded with our official business, I fear that I might get smothered in my sleep by my closest friend. So I'm going to stop now.
I hope you two
And
have a lovely dinner. It's on the house if you would like to come over for
Oh, I
dinner.
would
I will set you both up a table.
thank you so
I
much. I
would not
really
dare to
appreciate it.
accept like food
Oh,
like
is this
without.
practice? Is this we're not allowed to? Okay, no. I look over at the at the envoy that was like, maybe don't take bribes, girl, and like look at them and be like, oh, I understand what you mean now. Okay, and then Tamasa will just do that Tamasa thing where he'll just sit back and, you know.
Tamasa will just be Tamasa and be completely oblivious.
Mhm.
She pinches her nose as per usual and shakes
Yep.
her head and goes, I apologize. I hope everyone has had a lovely lunch. Our carriage has been commissioned. It is under construction last I checked. In terms of what we will be paid and who will be paying us, please, for the love of God, get in contact with my accountant. He will want all of the details.
It's part of why we did the show.
I see.
No, we did the show because it's nice to have you home for a show. And,
Yeah.
you know,
In
Yeah,
that case, we will certainly
that's
like
the
get
real
in touch
reason.
and draft the necessary paperwork to.
I can also do other fundraisers for the crown. You know, if this envoy initiate thing works out, I'm more than happy to do performances at the palace to, raise money to do tax breaks for lower class people. You know, I'm a very talented individual, not
uh,
just an adventurer.
Like as like serious as some of them are, you cannot help but to see like Elora like almost like giggle to
Oh,
herself
I
like
love it. I
like
love,
oh
please. I
this
love making a Laura crack.
it's
She's my
like oh
favorite.
this man like
and I'm
well
just looking at her like I haven't donated literal millions of dollars to this town over the last 3 years.
This is how poor people raise money with our talent. Not to say that you
that
don't.
feels a
You're
bit
just
real.
Nicolette is just so talented. She's rich.
Yeah. I'm sure that if there's any need of such thing, we will let you know. We do.
Thank you.
We shall keep you on the list. All right. And she turns towards Lapel. You've been quite the quiet type, which is what seems to have been the case since I've first met you.
He nods at her and says, my role isn't to provide counsel on these sorts of matters. My role is to go with the good Madam says.
And she looks at Nicolette and she looks at you. Although I doubt that Madame here would prevent you to have any opinion on the questions, she doesn't seem to be the type.
No, but I respect her nonetheless. I know my station here and know my duties.
All right, I can respect that.
Nicolette cocks her head to the side. He's not on my payroll. He's on Pierre's.
That explains a few things. Um, you are the one that did not get more into read him, did you? Are you?
Yes, I didn't take a reading then.
Does not surprise me. But I'm sure
And
that
why is
he would
that?
find you quite fascinating if you did. So,
Most people, and he um doesn't look towards Tamasa, but shifts his body just slightly towards Tamasa's direction, would feel the same exact way. He says to her.
all right. Well, I'm not sure if there was anything else. I mean, I know on my part, I would certainly love to finish enjoying this lovely tea. I would hate to leave immediately, especially with such pleasant view and pleasant
Please, we
company.
can sit and eat and chat
Mm,
and get to know one another if we're going
mm,
to be working together.
certainly. However, uh, and she not necessarily directly look at Tamasa, but like, uh, I do like to keep certain affair a bit more private, uh, which is, I'm sure that it can be quite respectable for some people. How do they say it? You don't always put your laundry out for everybody to see, right? Or some, I'm not sure what's the common saying for it.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I'm not particularly sure. The common saying that I know is that your clothing would look lovely as crumpled laundry on my floor. That's the one that I know. I,
but
if anything, he got slapped when he said it to the young lady. It was
Beet
terrible.
red, head to toe, beet red.
like, and she's like, is she like reading the dynamics of like how like the three of you like are working together? Like, what is your like general group dynamic? And it's like, and like internally, probably like, yeah, all right, it's gonna work. They're gonna make it work.
Nicolette is screaming inside. Screaming.
In that case, you are having a lovely brunch with tea and crumpets and discuss talking about very casual and very casual conversation and
Um, I think that that's something I would want to point out above
yeah.
table is that when the conversation becomes like really casual,
Mm-hmm.
that is where Tomasa stops putting his foot in his mouth. He doesn't seem to be very good with like big important things because his like communication specialties are like
Yeah.
performance
Essentially, that is
and
way for him like to like dealing with anxiety and like the conversation is just like to like he put his foot in his mouth
yeah,
because he's
yeah,
low key very anxious about that shit.
yeah, he's just gonna be like when it stops being important, because like he's got communication deception and performance, so
Yeah.
he's really good at faking the funk, but
Mm-hmm.
like not it's
Yeah.
not diplomacy and it's not persuasion, it's you know
Uh,
something else. But
I would say just overall this conversation, if some of you would like to just roll me communication empathy. Is it no, sorry, perception empathy.
Perception empathy?
Yes. It's
Um,
just essentially to like just get a general vibe of like how
um,
this things go and like how like the more casual side
uh,
of things are.
8.
8,
um, 9, 13.
13.
9
and,
on my end.
Anybody with above probably a 10, and like for some like under a 10, it might like probably take you a bit more time to clock it in. But as you like talk and like just discuss like the weather and like things in life and like interest and a few things that are not here as business, just enjoying like just enjoying casual conversation, you do realize that although they are well presenting people, they're like very well, they can be very well be business all about, okay, this is who we are, this is what we represent. No, we are, if shit defend, we don't fuck around type of people. At the end of the day, they're still just people, right? They're they have their quirks, they have their flaws. Some hide them better than others, um, and you can tell that they even in a more relaxed setting, they're not necessarily guarded, but they have a certain understanding approach and etiquette about themselves and just how they do things in general. Uh, that it may be from upbringing or years and years of training that sometimes will forge our person to approach things even on the most casual setting, right? It's like if you see somebody that was essentially raised in the military, like their casual approach is not the same as your average mechanic or some shit like that, right? And so they are, still being extremely polite in all their, and yeah, but there's just at the end of the day, just people. Probably less threatening that you could imagine them when you see them like approach here dressed like they are.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, but after like it's probably around like 1 or 2 o'clock, after a bit of food and drinks and all that have been um one by one they eventually like leave to do their own thing, as they have other things to attend during that day, other duties, and they leave you to it, to whatever you need to do for this evening, afternoon, and so on. And this is also where we, as you know, folks on this show, will take a moment to take a break, so that you may take a moment to think about what you want, how you want to spend that evening and the afternoon, and yeah, discuss among yourself. So yeah, we are gonna be right back. So yeah, I'm gonna go on the BRB screen and see you in a bit. Get up, drink some water, go to the bathroom, have some snack, do all the things, and we'll see you in a few minutes. See ya. And we are live. Welcome back, folks. Right before the break, our little troop here had a little lunch with some folks that works for the crown. It was, for the most part, there to answer some questions, and just at the end was a lovely little brunch where a certain bar did uh, casually toss an invitation to one of them for a quick dinner. Um, so before we go further into anything, what are the three of you doing for the rest of your day? Or is there anything that you wish to uh, talk amongst yourself following the meeting now that they're no longer around?
Tamasa,
Yeah,
you have a date.
I do have a date.
You should go grab one of the private baths and get cleaned up.
Absolutely. Uh,
Just saying.
yes. Uh, wait, is that it? You're not going to say anything? You turned red.
I'm furious at your inability to be mature, but that is never going to change. And hopefully, maybe a date will do you some good. And when you trip over yourself and fail horribly, be because you can't manage to not put your foot in your mouth. Maybe you learn a lesson, or maybe you do better. I think you need to actually be on a date that isn't let's bone.
Of course.
Seriously, getting to know someone is half of the fun. I would know. And she turns and she goes back up to her office.
He waits for her to go into the office. And then if
Mhm.
Lapadel starts moving, he puts his arm in his arm to like try to stop him from following her.
I mean, Lapida is always going to be near Nicolette's side.
Yeah, it's more like a pause, like a
He looks down at your hand in his arm, then looks at you.
uh he gets a little close, like intimate, uh and says, I I just want I just want you to know that no matter what happens tonight with Gerald, it doesn't it will not change how I feel about you. It has been a really intense time since we met. I'm never going to push you for something that you're not ready for. And I don't know if you'll ever be ready for me. So, I'm going to go and have a good time tonight. But I don't want you to take that as a reflection of the amazing person that you are.
Lapaled is going to look Tamasa in the eyes and say, "You deserve to have a good time with someone who wishes to be by your side. So, what you should do is to focus all your attention, your energy onto that person for that evening. Enjoy yourself. You deserve it. And no
I
matter
see.
what happens, whether it was meant to be or not, just try and have a good evening."
Right. I'm going to go get ready. You make sure Nicolette's safe while I'm gone.
That's what I'm charged to do.
And then Tamasa just lets go, not realizing that he had been like gripping it, like almost like a death grip. And then just ease and lets go. And then turns around and with a few brushes of fingers, his fingertips against Lapadad's fingertips, uh, he goes the opposite direction. Goes into La Chateau, but he goes in a different way.
And in the back of your head from upstairs, dear, his name is Garen. Remember that.
Garen.
That would be awkward if you call him by the wrong name.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
It would be on brand, though.
It would be on brand.
On
It would be on
brand.
brand.
So on
Nicolette
brand.
knows he's going to get it wrong, so she's just constantly going to remind him until he goes on this damn date.
Little note in
I'm
his hand.
trying to help you, my dear.
Garen. I'm just imagining like it just like flash forward to like dinner. He's got the wine and he's like, "Did you know your name is Garen?" He just says that out loud. And he's confused. He's like, "Yes."
Gerald, Jerry,
Gerald,
I'm not doing
George.
Gregory.
That's not what's happening.
All right. Any other thing that any of you wish to attend?
Is Lapra coming back up to the office?
Yes.
She sticks her
He-
head out and goes, "Mm."
He comes in.
It sounds like we have the residence to ourselves tonight. Dinner?
Sure. What were you thinking?
I don't know. What are you in the mood for?
I don't know this area that much. Short of, I mean, are we eating in? Are we eating out? I would assume out,
In?
but
Maybe in.
order out but eat in.
Ooh, Uber it.
Ye old
Fantasy
Uber.
Uber Eats.
Ye old Uber Eats.
We'll goober it.
You have a whole chateau of servants. Just
I don't have servants. I have staff.
excuse me. You have staff that you can pay to go get food and bring it back.
Which is what we're gonna do.
But Nicolette, we have food at home.
Francesca,
just went
goddamn it, I'm an
shopping.
adult.
No, I want someone else to cook it.
Let Alice have a night off.
All right.
What if I cook?
See, now you're really going off the rails of the spirit of ordering takeout.
This is me arguing that fact.
What if I cook?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go run down to check and see what we have in the larder, and she's gonna run downstairs and look for food to cook.
And while Nicolette is doing that, I think whatever Lapared had in the office area that was his when he temporarily relocated to the office, he'll take and move out and try and arrange things to how they were. So that way, Nicolette has her office space back.
Is he moving back down to the barracks, or is he moving into Antoine's room? Because he does still have that space available to him if he wants it, because it's empty right now.
I think for now he will still move to the barracks. Yeah, I think he'll move to the barracks for now.
All right. So we skipping forward to the evening. So, Tamasa,
Yes.
how do you present yourself tonight?
I think tonight he is going to wear his emerald green brocade doublet with his blue silk sash and some green and black pantaloons and some black hose and his shoes, or maybe dark green hose. And then with instead of his hair up in the top knot, he's going to have his hair free. maybe pulled back with like a single silk ribbon that's the same
Yeah.
satin as the doublet. And then there's like slashing in the sleeves, and then the undershirt is just a very stark white. It's not cream, like it's like bright white, like so white it's like almost high contrast against the dark tone of his skin. Um, and one of those a piece of like what he jokingly refers to as costume jewelry. It's not costume jewelry. It's actually a very lovely piece of just like of square jewelry, which were usually used as like marks of station, but it's not a particular mark of station. It's just a lovely piece that he got for his birthday from Nicolette. Um, and the stones are like a lovely labradorite. They're like flat labradorite stones, kind
All
of
right.
encased in like a reinforced silver, because it's like a chain.
Okay. Perfect. And other question for you. Did you let the people in the kitchen know ahead of time that you, as an individual, were possibly expecting somebody for something tonight, or do
Yes.
you just expect to
No.
order off what they have?
No. I actually spend the rest of the day getting ready, like picking out the outfit,
All right.
letting the kitchen know ahead of time.
Yeah.
And they said, you can double check with the mistress.
Yeah.
Um, th- but this is what we're setting up.
Yeah.
Uh, I, we'll let them know that it's somebody,
All right.
that we might want to impress, because it's somebody that we work with from the palace. And
Wonderful.
uh yeah, and then you like just have like the special table and take a bath and rehearse. uh
Perfect. All right. Yeah. So, well, knowing that you are expecting somebody, um, it's probably closer to 6:30 uh, when it comes down, uh, and eventually Garen solo uh, does show up to the establishment, um, and being expected here. Um, is casually guided to one of the dining area that has been reserved for the two of you. Um, are you already waiting for him there, or you're gonna?
yes. When he gets there,
Yeah,
like
uh,
I will
yeah,
actually have like really nice playing music. Like I'm gonna have my mandolin there and
yeah,
I'll be playing music, and then I imagine when like the
yeah,
curtains part for the
yeah,
private dining area, I can just be like, like the whole trick in television shows where you think it's the score, but it's really like a boom box or someone actually playing the instrument. And then,
yeah.
when Tamasa stops playing, suddenly all of the decorative music that was playing in the background just stops.
Perfect.
And he's like, oh, sets it down,
Yeah,
stands up,
and
straightens his
you
doublet,
can
and
see that
bows.
he did change himself. He's not in his like same military uniform. It's still a what would be reminiscent of a military code, but it's more of a casual approach, right? Still like a pale blue with some brass trim outfit. His hair still tied back. Well, good evening.
Good evening, Garen. It's wonderful to see you. He bows. Please have a seat.
Yeah.
May I ask you how you would like to be formally addressed?
Oh, you can simply address me by my name, Garen.
Okay. Well, special meal, uh, Romer dish. Uh,
Is that so?
yes. So I talked to the kitchen, had them steam up some rice, um, and some a curry. My people like curries and yogurts. They also like chickpeas and rice and things. Stuff that's relatively easy to eat on the road. We don't cook a lot of meat, but we travel a lot of places. So my uncles in the Songbird Festival, where I'm from, uh, because we travel to so many different cities through Aldis, we're one of the few roamer caravans that actually do eat meat. So uh, I've got made sure that they seared some lamb to add to the curry for you.
Wow, wonderful. In that case, it might remind me of some of my own personal travel in my days.
I am I am glad, and then also some mango juice. Uh, my people, the roamers, we have family on the seas that chose to uh, travel by boat, establish coastal communities going from port to port. So from them, there's a particular mango dish because mango is usually native to the archipelagos. They're not really native to the continent. Um, but in the past couple of generations, we have sort of like a mango, uh, candied mango dessert that I grew up with that I managed to go to the market and pick up some and had them. But we'll
Mhm.
get to that later. That's dessert.
Well, interesting. I'm very much looking forward to it, and I'm sure that the juice and candy process is, as traveling folks, is a good way to preserve them for the long run.
Yes.
You probably don't have quite access to as much uh, fresh and produce on, so it is not surprising to see a lot of grain in your meal. But I'm very much
Yes.
looking forward to it. I'm not sure what owe me the joy and pleasure of the invitation to dinner, but
Uh, if I
sure
could
it
be,
will be a pleasant experience.
if I can be fragrantly honest, you're absolutely enchanting. Like when I met you, you were so gallant and you were so handsome, and it was an incredibly nerve-wracking situation. And I foolishly was utterly distracted uh, by you. And my compulsion was to flirt. It drove my friend crazy, but you're very special. And I don't know. Well, I mean, you're one of the finest, but like it's more than that. I don't even know what you're just probably going to surprise you, or maybe not. I don't actually know what your title is.
Oh,
When you were formally introducing yourself, it sort of went in one ear and out the other. Um, you're
well,
just so kind, and so I just want to make it clear this is not a power play. This is simply I met an incredibly handsome man at court, and I'm just taking this as my opportunity to, I don't know, share a nice meal with you and maybe show you a good time for the evening.
I must say I'm quite incredibly flattered that I have made you in part almost lost for and unable to listen with as you should. Uh, but uh, I'd say I'm nothing, nobody quite important. I'm simply one of the Rose Knight of serving Our Highness. But it is
Wow.
like like this title, this rank in my stature. It's nothing that may impact this conversation or should impact this conversation or the way this evening is going to go.
Okay. Well, uh, let's eat. And I think I'm gonna this is very similar to
Hmm.
the kind of vibes I'm going for is like the first time you take someone out to Himalayan food or Indian food or
Yeah.
like French cuisine or like something like different, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm flirting, but I'm also sharing my culture with him.
Hmm.
Uh and really good food. And my goal is to convince him to go out with me. Like, finish dinner, maybe change into something a little more conspicuous, like I have like a change of clothes for like both of us, that is a little, more dressed down, and see if I can convince him to go, not to the same places. Okay, the same vibe as where I took Ariella, but not necessarily maybe the same legality, like go to the docks, I want to take him to rowdy bars with the common people and really enjoy the nightlife of Aldous that maybe he hasn't seen in a long time.
What, you mean you don't
Or
want to bring him to a dive bar full of criminals? Really?
no, I don't want to bring him to a dive bar full of criminals. I want to bring him to a dive bar full of working class people that have come to party and listen to music. Like I want him to be among like laborers and artists and artisans and everyday folk enjoying their life in Aldous because it's a great city.
Well, wonderful. Well, I guess we shall see where this evening is going to go, right?
Yes.
So, well, this is quite a lovely dish there.
Yeah. Uh, so I was thinking, after dessert, uh, we could go out.
I see.
Um, the chateau is a very, very lovely place, but I'm a bard. I'm a performer. I've been to almost played almost all of the stages in this city. And I would love to show you around for, I mean, whenever you're ready to retire, I totally understand. But there's some amazing open mic bars, meaderies, uh, just a hole in the wall
Who's
places
this
that I
mic
think.
person that is open?
What?
Who's this mic person that is open?
Well,
Open mic bar. Like a microphone
oh,
would not
oh,
exist.
oh, he didn't say microphone. He says open amplification.
And
Uh, open ampo. Open amplification,
yeah,
open stage. He'll say
yeah,
open stage. That's what it is. Doesn't say
yeah.
open mic.
It would be,
He
yeah.
says there's a lot of great open stages. Poets, musicians come up and do great performances. I think you'd like it.
Interesting. I, it's been I would admittedly like it's been quite some time since I've had the joy to really travel and see see the ground, the common ground as it is. Most of my past year have
There,
been,
there is so much
and
just
I'm
within the
sure there
walls
is.
of Aldous alone.
I mean, this city is my home. I've and past time I had joy and travel, but it's my duty is that kept me quite here for quite some time. But you seem to be yeah, a man of the world. Please, if I may ask, uh, tell me a bit about yourself. Where I mean, I would say where are you from, but I'm sure certain that the answer is all over. Uh, please,
I
if you might indulge me in
well,
one of your many tales.
all over is this is a bit of a misnomer. I come from the Songbird Festival, which is a caravan, company, an extended family of the Brummers, traveling people. Uh, I was the only child in the caravan for a very long time. Uh, the whole caravan raised me. They were my family. Uh, and we just traveled from town to town, putting on shows, plays, festivals, until I was about 16. And that is when the realities of war came to our door. And for a time, relatively happy go lucky teen, dedicated their life to being a swordsman. Eventually, things turned around, but that doesn't make for a very interesting story.
Uh, it's definitely a world in reality with which I'm quite too familiar. Uh,
Wow.
but unfortunately, we are the lucky few that managed to make it on the other side. And do you still see your family from time to time? I know you're currently
Mhm.
with your friend, and seems,
Yeah.
but I've
No,
not
I
seen any roamer
all
company around.
well. By the time I was an adult, the company had gotten bigger. There were several other children, so it was easy for me to kind of move on. I see them every now and then, um, traveling on the road, but ultimately they don't need me anymore. There's a whole new generation of roamers that are staying with the caravan. And it's not really our nature to stay with the caravan our entire lives. I imagine eventually I'll go back, um, settle in a way. Um, Caravan life is kind of like the city equivalent of buying a house.
I see, but a house that may be on wheel or on boat, from what I understand, that is
Exactly.
not stationary.
S-
Probably been
Exactly.
always
So
the
like
same for.
once you've kind of settled into caravan life, that's where you are, but where you are is everywhere. The road is your home.
Mhm.
um there are some old tales, especially those among us who are fluent in uh Farron, our actual mother tongue, um mostly because it's just like that's how you learn the language, is the old stories that still exist. um there are some that hope that maybe we could get the homeland back some way. I don't know, that there's hidden roads. Uh, I personally am of the belief that until there is a new motherland, or the road is always going to be our place, and that was just sort of the price that was paid.
That's a rather interesting perspective on things. But hopefully, you will find your home, and like everybody, I don't think that a house is necessarily a home, right? A home is where we make it to be. Um,
Exactly. It's really hard to explain, I think. And he just sort of puts his hand on his hand and is like, because they're like at the table and sitting
mhm.
together. He just sort of thinks it's like, it's really hard to explain coming from a place that doesn't exist anymore to people who have always existed in a place that exists.
I'm not sure I can even begin to imagine what it may be like.
I don't want you to like interpret this as some kind of weird threat. I'm just speaking in metaphor. But could you imagine if Aldous was just gone tomorrow? And you knew about
As
Aldous. And
yeah,
Aldous was something that you told your children and your family members, and it exists within living memory of people you're related to. But it's just
mm,
not there.
considering how close we came to that possibility in recent years, I feel quite lucky and blessed that but thanks to all the divines, that our walls are still standing, that our people are still standing. Uh,
It's the reason why I'm
it's
so bold and flirtatious. I don't like, I know it can come off as thoughtless, but like there's nothing to hold on to. except each other.
I mean, at
It's
the
just
end of the day, that's what it is, right? All this, all this to me, and I'm sure to many, it is not necessarily its wall or its palace. It is mostly its people. There are ideals, our dreams. What make us Aldean is our will to thrive and to, for some of us, fight for a better future, which I'm sure you've fought many times in your times for a better day. And I can tell, even in your almost obnoxious awkwardness, uh, that in the presence of your friend, that you do care about them. They are, if I may be so bold myself, to say that they are possibly your, in a way, your actual home. You may not realize it yet, but what may bring you, what may bring a man that can go over all about the world back here to people? It's possibly because they find it to be home in some strange way. I've noticed how you look at Madame of House. She is, I can tell, very dear to you. Uh, Perhaps if you would take a moment to ponder, you may be able to express uh, how much you care about her in a in the presence of certain individual in a more appropriate manner and possibly not outrageous because she did seem to be for a moment slightly displeased by your outburst. But
always,
I must say,
always, always, always.
you two make for quite an interesting pair.
I don't understand why the courtesan is so judgmental towards me.
Hmm. I don't think it's really judgment per se, but
I know it's not judgment. I'm feeling spicy.
it might be all the curry,
It might be. It might very well be.
which was quite
I,
lovely, I must say.
yes, yes, quite.
But I'm, and he looks outside. I do not have any immediate obligation following our dinner.
All right then. Well,
I might
I,
take you on this invitation.
all
However,
right.
I would like you to promise me that you will behave. I understand that you have quite a reputation that precedes you.
Okay, I will behave if you come with me.
Now, I'm not sure what you have set as your expectation tonight.
I will behave as long as you are in my presence. I feel like that is a reasonable request.
It sounds quite reasonable, and I'm sure that if you do choose at some point to misbehave, that I have more than the ability to correct you.
Absolutely. I have a little bit of a gift for you. Come on. Motion him over to like the side area, uh, and hand him a bag that has a very simple, comfortable, like one size fits all tunic and drawstring trousers.
All right.
Follow me to the changing area. This way you
Perfect.
have to come back, so you have somewhere to change.
All right. Seems reasonable.
And then I'm gonna take him out on the town.
All
Um,
right.
just like 2 or 3 hours, one bar after another, a place with dancing, folk dancing, like circle
Yeah.
dancing or country dancing, something that we can like get involved in and get active with. Um, Fun bars, like I'm gonna watch my drinking like I usually do, and put on some shows and really, really like show him a good time, like out on the town.
Wonderful. All right. Uh, while you are having a wonderful evening of dance songs and showing Sir Garen the beautiful side of all this, uh, our dynamic duo here, we are eating in house. Uh, are you doing anything specific in that evening?
I think Nicolette ran to the basement where the kitchens are,
Mm-hmm.
grabbed a cart full of stuff. She knows exactly what she's cooking. Um, Throws everything in the elevator, goes all the way back upstairs, knocks on Aurelia's door, finds out she's not there, assuming that she went out because she's welcome to do as she pleases.
Mm-hmm.
And she heads for the kitchen and has like let Lapida know he's welcome to come up whenever he's ready for food.
Uh, Lapida is going to wait 20-25 minutes. Um, I should not just be there, 25 minutes just waiting. So he's probably just going to go back to his barracks, polish up his armor just a little bit more, make sure that he is presentable, and then make his way up. And like I said, about 25 minutes of time being spent, so it's probably waiting like another 5. Um, Sit down, just wait, and just take in, probably go out to the balcony and just look outside, take the little moment of just peace and tranquility where there's not really too much happening, and just look about what everyone's doing about their busy lives and taking in the view.
Awesome.
And she'll probably notice that he's outside and like let him just hang out for a couple of minutes while she's finishing up like cooking. And then we'll like hip check the door on the way out and be like, hungry?
He turns around and um, asks if there's anything he could do. He could set anything up, grab anything
Nope.
off of
We're
her.
all good. And she sets plates down. And it is a plate of like giant sea scallops that have just been tossed in a pan with butter and rice that's got like green onions and garlic in it. Um some green beans that have like lemon zest and like garlic and salt and pepper, and like it's just it's really well done simple food that you would see in a high-end restaurant, but it's for her it's home cooking because it's ocean. And like a big basket of yeast rolls that she ganked from the bakery area of the kitchens with it, Alice not looking.
You made all of this?
Hmm. It's not
This
hard.
looks, no, it looks really good. I
Sit,
just
sit, sit,
wasn't.
sit, eat.
And he just sits down and starts making nice, respectable portions for himself.
No, she fixed
Um,
you a plate. It is loaded to the brim,
oh,
and
in
so is
that
hers.
case,
You need those
he's
carbs, boy.
No, she came
he's
out with the plates fixed.
yeah, he's just diving in then. He's just diving in, having a little bit of the rice, having a little bit of the beans. He's probably much like me, just goes for like the veggies first. You can make sure he gets his veggies first, and then goes after the rice and the scallops.
And she's just kind of picking it, like eating little bites of everything. Like a little this, a little this, a little this. She just kind of picks at it. And she's laughing. She's just like, it's quiet up here today.
Yeah, just having a good time.
It really is quiet. It's kind of like how it used to be before.
Yeah,
You know,
before everybody came home, but at least now you'll actually eat dinner with me.
it's amazing how much has changed in that short amount of time.
I know, right? 6 months. Wow. Almost 7 now.
Nearly, nearly. But this is very good.
Good.
I would say compliments to the chef, but thank you.
You're welcome. It's nice to get
And
to cook. I don't get to cook for people very often because the kids aren't here as often as they used to be. And Tamasa
well,
would rather be out than here.
they are missing out on this for sure because this is probably one of the best meals I've had in a while.
Thank you.
Mm.
Not to say that your staff isn't, the staff's good. They do some great food, but this is different,
It's
unique.
nice to have something cooked for you without asking someone to have to do it.
Yes, exactly. And
You should have seen the look on Alice's face when I told her I was cooking again.
really now,
They like to dote on me. How much do you know about I mean, you know about Pierre, you know about me a little bit. Like, do you know like this used to be his family home?
I wasn't told too much other than
I
what I
mean,
would be doing here.
Faradir just stayed even when I was converting it into what it is now. He just stayed and Alice is, you know, she's been married to him for many, many years and she's just like, I'll stay on as a cook, whatever, I don't care. We like you. So they baby me a little bit.
Well, it's good to know that you know meals could come from many different hands around here.
It'll help on the road too. Tamasa doesn't give me enough credit because he doesn't stick around long enough to know how much I can cook.
Well, what is his loss is in my stomach.
Well, there you go. It's nice to have
It's
just chill meal.
it is. It's just don't know how many of these quiet moments we'll have on the road. It'll be a
No,
little
but
different then.
between last night and tonight, this is nice.
This is nice. It's I feel like overdue.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit of a long time coming, but you know, other things that were much more important needed to be handled. And
Yeah,
are you doing all right?
I think so. I'm not as anxious as I was.
You seem a lot more shoulders relaxed.
I feel a little more relaxed. I'm a little annoyed with Tamasa and his inability to be mature for more than 3 seconds, but it's who he is. And it's very frustrating because it's going to get him in trouble at some point. And it
It,
may be trouble I can't get him out of.
it keeps everyone on their toes.
Yeah.
That's for sure. He is an entertainer.
Yeah. He's a good friend.
He cares about you dearly.
I know. I love him too, and he knows that, which is why he gets away with what he gets away with.
Lucky him.
Yeah, well. I don't know anymore. I'm very frustrated just in general. I'm a little antsy about this getting on the road thing. I know it's coming. We have to get the carriage done. We need to get you your armor. You did pick something out, yes?
I think I still have to make final decisions on that, but
Okay.
I should probably do that sooner rather than later.
Do you want any extra traveling clothes or anything? It doesn't have to be something elaborate or fancy, just if you
I
want
think,
something more comfortable.
well, I think it'll just be wise if we're supposed to be kind of inconspicuous at times. This is definitely going to be a look that can't be forgotten.
Yes.
So it probably would be a good idea. And As you know, this is mainly my day wear and night wear for the most part, so I will need a little bit of help in trying to find some other type of casual clothing.
Well, do you want me to take you shopping? Do you want me to send you off with Oh god, I don't even want to suggest sending you off with Tamasa. That would just be dangerous. I can have my tailor come up. She loves making clothes. We can order
Whatever
some
you
fabric.
feel is best. I think the tailor might be best because that way, if I'm still supposed to be somewhat making sure you're safe, so can't
Well,
be
how
really
about this?
doing
I
that.
will I will talk to Juliet. I will send her to see you tomorrow. And the two of you can work out. I mean, you're going to want comfortable things. You're going to want something comfortable to sleep in. I'm going to make the carriage as comfortable as possible. I'm going to start
I'm sure you
getting
will.
supplies together.
No, I think that would be a wise decision.
Okay.
Wonderful. All right. So, as you're having this lovely evening dinner and all of that, we're just gonna jump back to our men on a date. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm assuming those two things are more or less happen in the same bubble of time.
Yeah.
Later in the evening, probably closer to at this point 10, almost 11 in the evening, after a few location. Uh, Garen talks to you. Um, well, it's been quite the rather interesting evening.
Hmm.
Uh, it's good to see the folks of Aldous and how most of them are. It is quite indeed the different perspective. I unfortunately do not have the uh, joy and privilege to travel about as much as I used to.
Hmm.
Duty calls and study calls, always.
Yeah.
But the evening is late. Uh,
Yeah. Would you walk me home?
well, I believe I have no choice as my personal belongings are there.
Okay. I'm going to be very bold and take his hand uh,
All right.
while walking down the street.
Uh, he does not refuse it.
He just looks at the stars and he's just like, it is such a beautiful night. This is the perfect way to wrap things up.
It was quite a pleasant evening. And as you indeed promised, you did indeed behave.
I did.
I'm sure your friend would be quite proud of you. Now, if you could
Like,
just use that kind of approach to most social situation. Y- But am I incorrect to if I read that sometime you may act like a bit like a buffoon, simply uh, out of fear and anxiety? You
Nicolette's
are.
very important to me, he says in a slightly slurred voice. Um, so occasionally I will. I will say this: love telling a good joke, and I also get very defensive of Nicolette. And the problem is that Nicolette and I do not see the solutions to her problems as this. We don't agree on what those solutions are, and that's because she knows court better than I do. But I'd like to think that I know people and the world a little bit better, and what's fair and what's unfair should be fought for, regardless of etiquette or decorum. because none of those things have ever had a power or impact on my life. So why should anybody else care about them at all? It's like you said earlier when we were having dinner. It's not about things, it's about people. We need to all
That
be
is
there for
true.
each other.
Mhm.
And I sometimes say the wrong things in social situations because I'm angry that people are treating Nicolette unfairly because I love her very much. And that's all it is, really.
Mhm.
And I wish I could tell her that, or at least I could get her to accept that as a reason, but I so no, I do not act like a bumbling buffoon in public on purpose. I do it because I care. And I do it because humor breaks the ice.
Well, when you are in a more casual situation, you seem to be quite articulated. I'm sure that if you do take a moment to put your thoughts together, that you will be able to, with possibly some ease, properly articulate to your dear friend how you truly feel. And I'm sure she seems to be quite the understanding person. And if I may say, it may not be a bad thing that both of you have sometimes different perspective on things. One understand the masquerade, one does understand the person behind the mask. And that may be a strength that as friends that you both have. Use that. I must say, this was indeed one of the many factors that uh, I did like about seeing the two of you.
We have a great dynamic. I just wish she liked it more than as much as I did. Or do. Um, we'll figure it out. We're about to go on a great adventure. And I'm going to get working at being better at having dinner conversations with important people.
I mean, what makes a person important is not their title. It's how you see them.
Well, perhaps you've figured me out a lot quicker than most men do.
Well, you do talk a lot, so you're easy to read.
Open books don't have secrets, and secrets can kill families.
Perhaps.
It's an old thing my they used to say in the company. It's a
I see.
phrase.
Well, I might keep that in mind. Uh,
Yeah.
but I see that we are approaching our
Yes, we
destination, so
are. We
how
are.
not that these are
Oh,
uncomfortable,
come on.
but I would really like to have
Yeah,
my
no.
own belongings.
Yeah, follow me. And I'm gonna take him to the side room
Yep.
where his things are. Uh, and I am. I'm gonna make a move. I think I'm gonna like touch his arm and say, "Do you have to leave? Do you have to go back to the palace? Maybe we could have a bottle of wine, snack by the fire."
And he looks at you. Take a moment. I must say, Tamasa, I did greatly appreciate your company tonight. It was uh, quite the experience, and I'm sure that we will have uh, ample opportunity to repeat and explore. Uh, but unfortunately, as it stands tonight, I must decline further uh, drinking, but I appreciate the time that you've provided me.
Well,
Perhaps
I
you may
had.
see this as a lesson to sometimes it's important to enjoy the road and not just the destination.
I am a bit of an expert on roads, and that is a very sound advice, Phantom. Very sound advice indeed. Uh, I hopefully will see you again soon, and you have a beautiful night.
You
And
as well.
I take him by the hand and just very graciously, like, kiss the back of his hand. Uh, and and just sort of like awkwardly leave. And then I think he kind of like blue screens of death after he leaves the room, and then is like, what am I doing? And literally like walks over to up to his room, uh grabs his mandolin and says, I'm going out, don't wait up for me. Like as he leaves the common room and sort of just marches away, and he's just gonna spend the rest of the night until dawn hopping from bar to bar, playing gigs, and drinking.
All right. Well, with that in mind, as the evening will pass on, whenever Tamasa is going to come back home, or if he is going to come back home, who
He'll come back
knows?
like in the morning.
Yeah, but
I don't know that anybody heard him say that because I think after dinner, I walk La Pared to the door
mhm.
and I kind of grab him by the arm for a second. I'm like, last night and tonight was really nice. Thank you. It's nice to have someone I can actually talk to again.
It's nice to be able to listen to what you have to say. And
Yeah.
thank you for these 2 nights. It's been really rather enjoyable.
Yeah, it's been really nice. Thank you.
Of course.
I'm going to bed. If you ever decide you want to come back up to the residence, you still have Antoine's room available if you want to stay up here. But I respect you wanting to stay in the barracks with everyone else. It's totally fine.
Yep. I understand and thank you for that. Eventually. Maybe when we get back.
Yeah. Have to see what happens over the next few days. Yeah.
Yeah, no point in moving my stuff up here and then having to leave.
Yeah. Well, oh boy, we're going to have to pack. And she just starts thinking about how type A she is, like all of the way
Yep.
that her equipment is set up, because she has travel stuff. She can in a minute and be gone and not need a whole lot because she's that person that has packing cubes.
Yeah.
She's that person.
So,
Um yeah, so I will just let him head downstairs and I will go to bed at like a reasonable hour of 8 or 9 o'clock.
yeah.
Yeah,
By 9 p.m. I am asleep and I have no clue what's going
So
on.
you
no
you've probably
worries.
like might have like heard Tamasa yell because they were back
Yeah,
a
it's
bit
like,
later.
what? Huh?
But uh,
Yeah,
uh, so with a pleasant evening for the most part, and possibly some complicated things to process for some. Um, The night will pass, evening will go on, and eventually, as it always does, the sun will rise on a new dawn. And on this new dawn is where we're gonna pick up next time, which is not next week, but the week after.
Yes.
So, as always, thank you everybody for joining us. And I do believe that when we're gonna hopefully come back in not next week, but the week after, we might venture outside of the uh, beautiful safe wall of the city of Valdis into the
Yeah.
wild beyond and see what the future holds for us. As it seems to be fairly certain that our troop are gonna venture forth. So, uh, as we always do, let's tell the people at home who you are and all that. And if you want, I can roll the dice of doom too.
No, Hector's going first because Hector wasn't here last week.
That's
No,
true.
I'm gonna go first. Hello, my name is Hector Reyes. You can find me at KHOKami on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and Tumblr if you're nasty. Um,
We love you.
I also I'm here on Mondays. As you're already here, I'm also over on Misadventurers League every Wednesday for Hollows Vale, a Kids on Bike limited series, very ooky spooky. Please check us out there. It is typically stream. I think it was at noon Pacific time. But it's a UK based channel. Really cool people. You can also check me for the next 3 Tuesdays at noon Pacific on the Nerds with Dice channel. And I'm going to be telling a powered by Wanderhome folklore punk fantasy story called The North Star. I will be the guide. I am really, really excited. It is a homebrewed setting, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope you will join us.
Awesome. Wonderful. Yeah, make sure to follow Hector and check out all your cool shit that he does. And I'm sure that he may or may not be just as equally flirty with other characters. Who knows? There's only one way to find out.
There's only one Tamasa.
There's only one Tamasa. Thankfully, there's only one Tamasa. uh, either Panda or Lonzo or
I'll go.
Lonzo,
I'll
go.
let Panda go. I am Lonzo Gonzo, pronouns he, him. I play Lapaded, also pronounce he, him. I am a Latina content creator, podcaster, TTRPG performer. You can find me on my channel at Lonzo Gonzo. You can find me here Monday nights playing Lapaded. You can also find me on your favorite podcast feeds under Unwavering Force. We are a Pathfinder 2E Star Wars 6 months after Order 66. There's so many sixes there. We are like on episode 10 or 11. We released our Halloween episode last week, which was ran by Navarre. He using his system, the Corrupted. So that was a lot of fun. And I think that's it for now. That's it for now. I pass it off to Panda.
Hi,
there you
I'm
go.
Awkwardish Panda. I'm very awkward. I'm roughly panda sized and queer as hell. I am a professional mini painter and streamer. I stream 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, starting around 10:30 a.m. Central. You can catch me here 3 Mondays a month, or every 3 on, 1 off, as per usual, as Nicolette. On our off weeks and every other week, we are currently recording our Monster of the Week campaign. It's a 1980s Chaos Crew. We are the NC-17 Scooby Doo gang for a reason. It's called Fiends of Fairwick. Our episode 2 premieres Wednesday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so you can catch that over at youtube.com/at Fiends of Fairwick. You can also catch me on Wednesday with my stream anniversary. 3 years on this fucking platform. Oh no, how did that happen? It was supposed to be a fun thing and now it's a job. So come through for that. We're gonna be celebrating all morning. And then I'm going to take a nap because then we record Fairwick right after. So that's my week. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot going on. Just painting stuff and getting ready for PAX. Catch me there. I'm gonna be at PAX. Yay!
Awesome. Wonderful. And on my side, I'm Frank. I GM here, and I sometimes apparently also GM for other things like Phoenix of Fairwick, where I just like I don't know put like that Scooby Doo gang into a van and just like launch them to space. Who knows where this
You
is gonna
heard
go?
feral rabid cats
Yeah.
on that show.
But yeah, we also explore other interesting theme over there that are also big complicated feelings because I guess that's food and complicated feelings is just what I do as a GM. Um, cool. Outside of that, I'm a professional composer under Ribbon Skill Production. So if you want jams for your podcast, live play, or other shit that you need to, hit me up. But yeah, that is pretty much it. It's been a lovely evening. And we shall see y'all in 2 weeks. And hopefully by then, we can have our lovely part captain back because I miss her.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, have a good night, everybody, and see y'all in 2 weeks. Bye bye.
Bye.